I'll tell you all about it. That was real good. That was money, first of all. Let's do another.
What is up, everyone? I am Chris Knight. You are on the Real Review 3000, and this week on the Gospel According to Chris, we have 19K Fox over here. And, you know, you've been on the Wheel of Names for quite a long time, and this week it picked you. And how about that? How do you feel? You feel like you won the $1 million lottery? You do?
Yeah.
Because I don't have $1 million to give you, so just get that feeling out of you right now. Yeah, I know. Walk away.
That's fine. It's fine. No,
tell your kids Disney World's off.
I got to make a call. I quit my job when I got your email, so it's.
I know. You're like the 16th person. I will talk to your boss for you.
Okay, thanks.
Appreciate it. Won't work because they don't know me and they don't care. Just so you know. But I'll do it. Make you feel better.
Okay. It does. It makes you feel better.
So, guys, we are going to be talking some wonderful stuff today. We're talking about what I called film fuel, the most iconic of iconic movie and TV cars or vehicles. Because I mean, you know, they're like one I can mention. Right there, the Millennium Falcon, absolutely.
Yeah,
but like another one, the helicopter from Magnum PI. I mean, so iconic that they even kept it for the newer version, which I don't know if it's even still on. I haven't checked recently.
I don't know if it is. I thought it was pretty good. The first season was pretty good.
I liked what I saw, and
yeah,
I was surprised by that because as soon as I saw they took Higgins and made him a woman,
yeah,
I was like, oh, here we go. And then I watched the first episode. I was like, ooh, I like this.
Not too shabby. Not too shabby.
I mean, you know. I remember that was like a show my dad and I would watch together as a child. You know, the Dukes of Hazzards, movies were like Smokey and the Bandit and, Cannonball Run. We'll go into all of that. But let's go with what would you count as maybe the most iconic movie, TV, car, or vehicle?
I've got... It's not a caveat, but let's go this way. Obviously, I think the first place you want to start is James Bond with the Bond cars. Those were in the 60s, but and I will never take anything away from those vehicles. But what I will say is this. The Bandit car of the 70s, the Smokey and the Bandit Trans Am, what that did is that inspired so many copycats that it spawned multiple TV shows. I mean, really, TV is where it really just took off.
Mm-hmm.
Movies, I mean, when we're talking TV shows, everything from Knight Rider to Street Hawks to Airwolf to what else was I thinking of? The A-Team with there always had to be that car component, and there you go. And it was something that just inspired this whole movement. I mean, you had fly-by-night, one-hit wonder shows that didn't last that long, but there was some where it was just a staple. You can even go back as far as Fall Guy, where he had the truck. He was a stunt man, and the truck was used in the stunts, so the two sort of worked hand in hand. I think Smokey and the Bandit actually predates the Dukes of Hazzard, does it not?
Yeah, actually, it was. I want to say 79 might have been the first year. Let's see here what year it says. I'll have to look that up here real quick.
So if you're talking about most iconic, easily you could point to like the DB5, from Goldfinger, but most influential, I'm going to lean towards the Bandit Trans Am just because of everything that spawned after that. Because we also had the Cannonball Run after that, and that's when my little, I guess 5, 6, 7-year-old eyes saw the Lamborghini Countach for the first time. Lost my mind.
Oh yeah, no that. Well, yeah, no, we didn't even look at the woman in it yet, or the women in it, and then hey, I like both of that.
Oh, this is great. This is good. Catherine Bach came out of the because she was Daisy, and she gets out of the Lambo, and then there's that classic scene where there's they add a 1 or a 0 to the speed limit and take off. Yeah.
1977 was Smokey and the Bandit, but I somewhere around here in my kids' crap, I still have my original Smokey and the Bandit Hot Wheel.
Dude.
I mean, it's been played with, and it's
sure.
It is loved to the nth degree, but that I remember on Fridays, I think it was, when the Dukes of Hazzard would come on, I had this affinity for liking breakfast for dinner, and I still do. I mean, I love breakfast. Who doesn't love breakfast? Sausage, bacon, eggs. I mean, who can pass that up? I would have my mom on Fridays would make me a breakfast as I watched the new Dukes of Hazzard on TV. I mean, it was like I was in heaven.
That's the greatest thing ever.
Love it. You know, I had the police car. And I mean, when I got a little older and they did the game for Xbox, I think it was, I bought both of those because they're not the greatest games, but I just loved the fact I could run around Hazard. It was like, yes, put me in heaven. Yeah, but you know, I know one that isn't on the list that I've been looking at, and maybe it is on the top 100, which we'll get to here in a second. One that I also bring up, and I saw the trailer recently for it with Sean Stackhouse, is the Ghostbusters car, the Ecto-1. And there was always something about that car. It's a hearse. It's an ambulance. It's like nothing major, but man, there was just something cool about that.
I don't know about you, but I always had a thing for the headlights, right? The 4 headlights, 2 on this side, 2 on this side. It was always different. It reminded me of like the old GTOs. You know, where you had some of those were in the stack configuration, but when we got to the 70s, they were side by side. Something about, well, even you can see the Trans Am right there. Something about that was cool because they later on the cars just had singles, and it was kind of lame. That's when they went from muscle cars to sort of the 80s, sort of the gas tax came in, and they killed all the emissions, just killed all the horsepower, and so the cars got boxier, and like I said, the headlights got square. But to me, and I think that's part of it, because the hood of that car, it's not just the headlights, but the whole freaking fender and everything was contoured to where it sort of ended up at those headlights. So it looked like rockets facing forward, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no. And I mean, there was just so much you could do with that. It was like, wow, I don't know. In the 80s, it seemed like we really got into that like making iconic cars. And I mean, yeah, you have the Batmobile from the 60s TV show. You got all the James Bond cars. There's the Monkeys car, the Pontiac GTO that they had, the Munsters car.
Yep.
The Addams family had a car too.
All those George Barris classics.
Yeah, I mean, but George Barris is the one that really sparked a bunch of ideas. And I think when he did it, he was just looking for outlandish, huge looking cars that you could identify to a show.
Right.
When movies started taking notice, so I mean, the first movies I ever really remember having iconic cars were the Bond movies. The Bond movies automatically had that iconic, 1964 Aston Martin from Goldfinger. That was like the first iconic one. And then it's so much so that they even brought it back for Skyfall. I think they're bringing it back for this movie. So that's an iconic car. And I mean, if there was one car that Bond drove, it was that one. That was the one that you saw at least, I want to say 10 different times, maybe less, maybe 8.
I would agree with you on that one. I think if you're going to pick, if we had to have one, let's say we had one Bond car, had to represent all of James Bond film, that's got to be it, man.
Yeah, I mean, it was classic, it was sleek, but what they did to it, with the ejector seats, the gun turrets, the slick, the oil slick, and they changed it up constantly. It was like, here's this really slick car and this really slick guy who drives it. He's the top of what you would consider a man. And he drives this really sleek looking car. And I remember the first time I saw the gun turret come out, or the guns come out, I was like, ooh, because it looked clean. It was clean how it did, but it was deadly. It was like, wow. And that, I think that was probably my first, one of my first movies that I saw with a car that really grabbed me, next to Smoking the Bandit, like you said, because Smoking the Bandit was, balls to the wall. That's what that was about. They were selling the 1977 Pontiac Trans Am.
Without a doubt, yeah.
That was the whole reason why they had it. And I think I've seen the a video out there that I think the production company put it out that talked about the search for it. They were looking at Mustangs, they were looking at GTOs, they were looking at a bunch of different stuff, and they wanted something completely different. And even though that was the style of the Trans Am at the time, they had just started doing this eagle overlay on the hood and stuff, and it was just something different about it, this gold and black that just they felt just popped, and so that's why they picked it. And and that stayed the same until even if we want to admit that there was a Smoking the Bandit 3, they changed it to the more slick 80s 80s version, which was not anything close to the 1 and 2. And then, let's look at this real quick. We'll just start kind of perusing through. This top 100 of all time, or at least according to whoever put this up here,
And we have to sort of transport ourselves back in time too. We think about the 60s. Okay, you say 1965, 1963. Bond did, the ideas were sort of segregated too, right? Bond did a thing, this guy did a thing. This guy. So you had the George Barris, like you pointed out, outlandish, gaudy, something easily identifiable with the show. The contrast to that would be James Bond. The car looked completely stock. And then when he wanted to activate something, the headlight would swivel open or the tail light would drop down or the license plate would flip over and it would reveal the smoke screen or the oil slick or the gun, would protrude out. And then it would always go back to stock because he wanted it to be clean and smooth and sleek. And that was sort of those differences began to really sort of meld into each other as we got into the late 70s and early 80s where the ideas started to combine, because back then, you didn't do what James Bond was doing. Why? Well, because that's James Bond does that. You don't do what this guy's doing over here. And then you had, like you just said, the Smokey the Bandit, the balls to the wall American loud car. Big gaudy giant flaming chicken on the hood. And the gold pinstriping on the mud flaps. It was just outlandish, brutal. That big 400. Big block, and it was just diametrically opposed to what they were doing with James Bond.
Yeah, it almost became there in the late 70s, early 80s, and even to today now, if your movie has a car, like let's go with the 2000, I think it was 2000, Gone in 60 Seconds. Yeah. Eleanor, I think it was a 67 or 68 fastback that they used in that. I'd have to go back and look. I'm not positive. But that's a character in that movie.
Yes.
That's the thing. That's what they started doing. When you watch the Dukes of Hazzard, you had Daisy, Bo, Luke, Uncle Jesse, Roscoe, Boss Hogg, Enos, Cletus, or all these people, but you had the General Lee. It was its own character. Yep. And if you ever heard Johnny Cash's The General Lee, which is about that car, he even did. The car talks in that basically, he says, "Come with me, ride with me. I'm going to get you away from the cop." That's how you felt. You were like, if they got into the General Lee, it was over. It was done. They were done. They were going to win. And that was the thing. But it was the car because they had the 00 car. They had a lot of other cars in there, but nothing was the General Lee.
Yeah, you're exactly right. When they started naming cars, it was just an admission by the scriptwriters. This is now a character. And which is funny, if we go back even farther to the Westerns, which is probably where it all started. One man on his horse, riding off in the distance of the desert, whatever, taking on whatever comes his way, whether he be an outlaw or a lawman. He was one man on a horse. Then we went to the 60s with one man in a car. And it wasn't an animal. It didn't really have a life of its own. It was just a tool, utilitarian. Then when you get to General Lee, once you name it, you're exactly right. It was the character in the show. I mean, what's the General Lee going to do? What are they going to jump next? What is that car going to get them out of? What are they going to be able to do? What kind of high speed chase are we going to see? Is there anything wrong with the General Lee? Is it when that car would get wrecked or scratched or whatever? Mm-hmm. I don't know about you. It's probably the same. I'd be like, oh no, whoa, man, they got to fix. What the hell? They got to fix that,
Yeah. When Scooter would have to come and tow it or take it to the shop, you're like, uh-oh. Yeah, we'll borrow the tow truck. Oh, they're screwed now.
They got to jump something into the show, man. Get that fixed. Hurry up.
Mm-hmm. Always.
Oh, yeah.
let's go through this real quick. We're just going to kind of peruse over this, and we'll highlight the ones we really want to talk about. Of course, the Monkeys 1966 Pontiac GTO. Dean Jeffries turns a GTO into a massive T-bucket with a blown engine. TV show ran for 2 seasons, 66 to 68. Cannonball 1970 Pontiac Trans Am. Pure mayhem for the Death Race 2000 director based on the Cannonball race. It beat the Gumball Rally into theaters by a month, which is probably why we don't really know the Gumball Rally.
Yeah, just no Cannonball.
Easy Rider. There you go. This is what I was talking about, not just cars. Easy Rider, the Captain America Harley Davidson, the ultimate biker road trip movie made 1969, made by Peter Fonda, Dennis Hopper, Jack Nicholson, and their Harley's icons. Or their Harley.
That should be what rank is that? That should be higher.
That is only 98. I agree with you. Because I remember, I mean, yeah, I wasn't alive, you weren't alive, but I remember when the first time I saw that, I was a little older because it was definitely a movie. You know, my mom was going to let me watch it 6 or 7.
Probably not.
My uncle let me watch it, I think, at 9. But you know, but kids don't pick up on some of that stuff. You pick up on the I like the bike and it's a road movie.
Yeah.
You're riding, and that's just perfect. And you know, those things again, a movie that does that helps the plot along with, be it vehicles or whatever, it almost makes that movie a little higher notch in the tier level, because there's something so beautiful about vehicles being used, especially ones that they make it look pretty and it has a purpose in the movie. Get Smart's 1965 Sunbeam Tiger, the spy car for the spy who isn't James Bond, driven by seasons 1 and 2, then replaced by the VW Carmen Gia.
Oh yeah.
Diamonds Are Forever, 1971 Ford Mustang Mach 1. Saint, 1962 Volvo P1800.
Yep.
Days of Thunder, 1990, number 46 Chevrolet Lumina, back when they were using the Lumina. You know, I don't even count that because that movie's a stock car movie, and you can't, that isn't like a standout. Yeah, it's his car. He wrecks the car goes, and then they had to build it from scrap. I mean, and
that's a skin. I mean, the outside is just a skin. The car is really all tubular frame and everything else. So yeah, you're right. That almost doesn't count. Yeah,
and if you know anything about stock car racing or racing in general, NASCAR, they're quote unquote all the same. The engine, engine output's a little different here and there, but dynamically, it's all supposed to be the same. Now, we also know that every racer says that, you know, it's not cheating if you don't get caught.
And rubbing is racing.
Exactly.
Another great quote from that movie.
And remember, if you're not first, you're last.
Damn right. Which is a different movie in the same vein as Help Me, Tom Cruise.
Mm-hmm. Jurassic Park, Ford Explorer. Okay. I can let that one go.
Yeah.
What's funny is just a few blocks away from me, there's somebody who still has like that 1997 Ford Explorer that's painted exactly like that.
Really? Really?
Yeah, and I've driven by it plenty of times. I sit there and I'm like, you can let it go now.
Yeah, it's probably time. You know, what would be cool though is the Jeep.
Oh
Jeep version. Yeah, must go faster. That version,
Jeep though. You know, I think any movie that has a Jeep, Jeeps are just kind of cool. I don't know who it was earlier here. Who was it that I saw? And I'm trying to remember what they said about it. I'll have to look for it later. I think it was on my Twitter. I'll have to go back and look here in a minute. Thelma and Louise, 1966 Ford Thunderbird, indeed, the convertible, the blue convertible. That is its own character in that movie because it's how they get around, and it is definitely integral to the movie, I think.
I think that's fair. Anything you're going to live in, anything that's going to have as much screen time as the actors.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Stripes, EM50 Urban Assault Vehicle, the UAV. Yes, built out of the 1970 GMC motorhome, the EM50 Urban Assault Vehicle is a heavily armored recreational vehicle you need to bash through the Czech border.
That's a fact, Jack.
Indeed. The Scooby-Doo 1969 Mystery Machine van. Indeed. Without the Mystery Machine, Fred, Daphne, Velma, Scooby-Doo, and Shaggy go nowhere. They've been going since 1969. That's 42 years. And indeed, I mean, I remember I've yet to really go by and pay much attention to this, but I remember, back when I was in high school, everybody would be like, man, if you watch it, when Shaggy and Scooby are in the Mystery Machine by themselves, when they open the door, a puff of smoke comes
out.
I'm like, I've never gone back to confirm that, but if it's true, I'm like, okay, they were telling us something even then.
Yeah, it was a not so subtle hint that they're partners. Yeah,
K.I.T.T. Yes, comic.
For me, and I know this could be just my generation, but if we're talking about K.I.T.T, the Knight Industries 2000, that was when the two worlds began to merge, where we were trying to be sleek like James Bond, but have that crazy muscle car feel of, Smokey the Bandit. And we brought those two things together into this sleek package that was just, to me, I still would love to have one. It's just a solid black car with a little red scanner going back and forth. So simplistic and yet just awesome,
Yeah, I mean, I remember, I got to see if I have it here because I had to find it. Do you remember? I can't remember if it was the battle kit or whatever when it would transform and
Super Pursuit mode.
That's it. Yeah,
Super Pursuit mode. Yes.
Oh my.
Season 3.
Yeah. Oh my God! When they did that and the car just went.
It was so cool. They just hit. I mean, and obviously it has no function, but when you're a kid in the 80s and there's Transformers cartoons,
exactly.
Holy shit. I mean, losing your mind. So he hits you, what's this button? Super Pursuit mode, hits it, and stuff, for those of you who haven't seen it, a regular Trans Am is cool, but when you hit Super Pursuit mode, stuff just pops out of everywhere and it looks cooler. It looks like something from outer space.
Hold on, we're gonna do this.
Yeah, you gotta do the comparison.
We're gonna do this. Hold on. All right, hold on. We're gonna play this damn video.
Oh God.
Yes.
So cool.
Yes.
I mean, that intro, it's like the man, the cowboy on the horse, right? One man against the world.
Mm-hmm. All right, here we go. Hopefully it won't be too loud. Oh, and
come
of
on,
course, my internet has been really stupid. I have gigabit internet, and it's been like, oh, let me think about this. I'm like, you don't think about it. You're just supposed to be faster than anything out there.
You're supposed to work, yeah. Well, we'll let this load for a second, but yeah, it's that whole show. The premise of that show.
Okay. Oh,
damn it! Come on, K.I.T.T.
All right, let's try this again real quick. Oh, damn it. Okay. We're going to have to let that sit for a while.
I will say episode 1, I remember, because I downloaded some of the seasons. I've got those. I watch them from time to time because I'm a dork, but that's okay. Season 1, when he wakes up from his coma, right? And his face has been reconstructed to look like Michael Knight, right?
Yeah.
He's introduced to K.I.T.T, and when he opens the door and sits in that extremely elaborate dash.
Yeah.
I remember David Hasselhoff saying this looks like Darth Vader's bathroom. And for me, it was just like lights going off. I mean, I love Star Wars. This black cool car. When he said that to me, I made that connection. And I was like, holy crap, he's right. This is black. It looks like Darth Vader's helmet in a way. It was just so awesome. It still is.
Yes, indeed it is. All right, let's see. Please work.
Come on, baby.
Let's see if it wakes up. I'm really disappointed in this. Okay. We're going to go back.
Even if we just had stills. Just to show.
I'm just wondering if it's just the fact that it wasn't. Oh.
Maybe not. Damn it.
All right. We're going to get this working here in just a second, guys. And whenever I see that it's actually like working, we'll go. I'm going to look at this tweet that I got earlier because it was really a good point that was being made about it. It was basically, and I gotta find it now here. Isn't it funny that a series like Fast and the Furious doesn't have an iconic car? I mean, maybe the Charger, but for a franchise about cars, not to have an iconic car or memorable vehicle. What's that say? And there's a point. It's almost like, okay, I understand you're a movie about cars, but as it goes on, you know, Hobbs and Shaw, things like that. It's like, yeah, you put all these cool vehicles in it, but nothing stands out as being the car. The first few, you could say that you know, it was the Charger, and then the Charger just kind of went away.
Yep.
And it's like, that's a missed opportunity. No, and that was Grumpy Luke actually.
I would say the exact same thing. It's a missed opportunity. You've got something where, I mean, shows back in the day would live and die by that vehicle, whatever that vehicle was, whether it be a car. Airwolf was basically Knight Rider in the sky.
Yes.
You know? Street Hawk was like a motorcycle version of K.I.T.T. You know, that show didn't last very long, but all this sort of just spawned all this stuff. And then pretty soon they had vehicles and everything. We had Hardcastle McCormick, which was just a show, had nothing to do with cars, really. It was, you know, it was
but it had.
Devin,
Hold on, we're gonna see if we can't watch the actual the TV episode that had it in there.
Yeah.
No, Hardcastle McCormick was a Lamborghini, right?
No, that was just a kit car. It was a fiberglass body. They just
is that all it was?
They just had to have something. They just had to have something in there because at the time that's what you had to have. You had to have a thing. You had to have a vehicle.
I couldn't remember. It's been so long since I've seen it, but my dad and I watched that show too.
Yep.
You know, like I said, Magnum PI and the Ferrari.
Yep.
That was beautiful.
And then we would move into the dramatic where you had, you know, Miami Vice, White Testarossa. I mean, that was iconic. That was in every trailer. I'm not trailer, but every intro to every episode. You know, you had that shot. You know, all the stills from that show. The Testarossa was there.
Okay, this is like it shows it's half full, so it's going to probably make it. So here we go.
There we go.
Oops.
Looking at Tanika's blueprint for the total annihilation of O'Brien Industries. I'll call Nick immediately. You got it. Super pursuit mode, pal.
Dude, this was just Transformers all the way, man.
I mean, come on.
It's super pursuit mode again.
By all means.
Loved it. And every time you heard that, you were like, yes!
It's so awesome.
I'm pleased that you're pleased, kid. Believe me, I'm pleased.
My thoughts exactly, Michael.
All right, pal. Super pursuit mode.
This is like probably all the times they used it. Stuff goes everywhere.
Yeah.
Just stuff goes everywhere.
And they just sped up the camera. But I mean, this is just, you know, this is just awesome.
Yeah. Oh, the speed up video.
But that was, you know, what do you do to the character? You know, do you paint him a different color? You know, no, you give him a different function, you know?
Yeah. Just right out of the bat. We're stopped, but we're going to go.
We're just going to go now.
And that jet engine sound.
It was so well because it had, what was it, a turbine engine, I think is what it was? Yeah. Just awesome. Oh, that's convenient. It's like the shark repellent that Batman always had.
Passive laser restraint.
Well, that was he always hit that, and as a kid, I didn't understand. Well, that was the way to explain him not having a seatbelt. Yeah. It was
just gonna go through the park.
It's lasers.
We blew it, pal. We should have followed the sedan.
It's clear across town at a power plant substation, Michael.
All right, let's go. Super pursuit mode.
Good night.
Real quick. Let's be honest here. We blew it, pal. We should have gone after the sedan. And then Kit goes like, well, it's halfway across town. Kit, come on, let's not be modest. Okay, let's go. I'll be there, and
we'll push one button and go 300 miles an hour.
Yeah.
It's not a problem.
It's not a problem. Don't worry about all the cars that are going 10.
No, we'll be fine.
And the traffic jam that's on the 308. Right.
Well, they have the other button. They have the turbo boost, right? Yeah. Which would just, for whatever reason, the car would just jump. It didn't
need a ramp. Didn't need anything.
No.
And no matter how long the distance was, it knew exactly how far.
You're good to go. And it was always a struggle. He would always hit that and just like, what are you wincing for? You know what's going to happen. It's fine. Come on, you're good.
Okay, so we mentioned this. Oh wait, no, I didn't want to do that. Hold on. Let's see if I can find it where it brought up.
With my new look.
Well, I'm pleased that you're pleased. I'm pleased.
I'm looking for. It had,
Then hit the brakes. There was a different button.
Well, I'm pleased that you're pleased.
it had the. I was looking for the where it had the seeing the first time he stepped into K.I.T.T. I want to watch that quick here. Oh, come on, show it.
By all means.
By all means. But I mean, the Transformer, you were like, oh.
Yeah. So this was between 82 and 84, I think, or 85. I was 8, you know? I mean, I was 10 in 1986, so this blew my mind.
Yeah.
All right, pal. Super pursuit mode.
Super pursuit mode.
And I wanted a perm.
Oh, God.
I wanted a leather jacket, you know?
Everybody wanted to be David Hasselhoff.
Yeah.
I mean, and then he went to Baywatch, and everybody really wanted to be David Hasselhoff. It's like the only thing that they could have made Baywatch better, honestly, was if they had brought him in as Michael Knight with K.I.T.T.
Yes.
If that had happened, game over. You'd have the most perfect show of all time.
Of all time, because he did the double role on Knight Rider when he was Garth.
Yeah.
He was like his evil twin or whatever. Do the same thing, but it doesn't have to be an evil twin thing.
No.
They could just go to the beach to try to solve a case.
Yeah.
You know? And
Well, the Baywatch After Dark or whatever that they did, the mystery show. That's all you had to do is add Michael Knight does that instead of All right, here it is. Introduced to K.I.T.T.
Yeah. Yep. This is it. This is awesome. With the members only jacket.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
The crotch shot.
I mean, dude.
Look at him. He's like, what the hell is this?
My God. Sounds like a jet. You don't know what this is. You're in a dark warehouse?
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Enough, Devin. You've had your fun with our guests.
And what else was cool? This was the first year that this car was introduced. This was a brand new vehicle.
Yeah, you see, this is how you introduced the
I think your explanation
the Trans Am from that era, not Smoking and the Bandit 3.
Think about the marketing geniuses.
Yeah.
I mean, that you know, they introduced the Bandit car in that movie. They introduced this car in the TV show. I mean, you just don't do this anymore.
K.I.T.T. speaks for the first time.
Looks like Darth Vader's bathroom. I love that. I just love it. But so you look at these vehicles, they're very much characters. I mean, he could get in this car and take off and do anything. And it was like the world's greatest plot device. If there was a problem, he would, it was like Batman's utility belt. The car would have a way to get him out of it,
The police car in Dragnet. Well, Sergeant Joe Friday and Detective, what was the other guy's name? Franklin or no?
I can't remember. I just
Friday.
remember
Just the facts, man.
just the facts.
No, the car was a part of it. I mean, their little cruiser that they went in, the undercover one, that was a part of Dragnet. And then, that's probably one of the few times I'll say that I enjoyed the movie version of the TV show that was made into a comedy, was when Tom Hanks and did Dragnet. Yep. And I remember that as a kid. That was just like, wow, that's freaking hilarious.
Boy, Tom Hanks, Dan Aykroyd. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Comedy genius, comedy gold.
I'm looking through all these chats here. Real quick, while I'm looking through this stuff, why don't you tell people where they can find you and stuff? I didn't even say any of that.
It's fine.
I believe I have your link down below in the description. Let me make sure that I do, because if I don't like lying. So
I am 19K Fox, obviously by the little yellow tag you see right here. You can find me on YouTube at 19K Fox. You can also follow me on Twitter at 19K Fox1. I'm doing movie reviews. I'm talking about Star Wars, live streams. I got the 2-minute review, which is a 2-minute review of a new movie. It's spoiler free. It's for those of you that maybe aren't sure if you should see the movie. You want to get somebody's quick impression, some overall thoughts on the movie. It's 2 minutes or less, and go about your day. So yeah, that's me. Thanks for having me, Chris.
Yeah, not a problem. I will make sure that on the replay of this, you guys can see his links and stuff. I did not put them down below. Of all the things I set up today, I'm like, I'm normally pretty good about that. Yeah, but like here, The Family Truckster. That's funny movie, vacation. But that car is a character of itself. It gets them from where they're going to where they're at to where they're going, and you can't beat that. Of course, then DJ Odyssey says that because he was dressed up as Cousin Eddie yesterday on Name That Tune over at Hanstar's channel. So
okay, well, that makes sense.
Now the DeLorean for sure. If you ever watched the special features of Back to the Future, the DeLorean took a long time to get to. They originally thought of I think it was a bathtub. Then they thought of a refrigerator, a stainless steel refrigerator, which, again, I bring this up every time I have an opportunity to bring this up. All those people who hate the refrigerator scene from Indiana Jones 4, the reason for that was because Steven Spielberg put that in that movie because the original idea for Back to the Future was for a refrigerator. And when he went back to 1950, the only way that they were going to be able to send him back was with a nuclear blast. So what they did is they toted the time machine, which was a refrigerator, to the nuclear testing site near Roswell and the New Mexico deserts and stuff like that.
Right.
They took it there. They put it right where the blast was going to happen. And that's how they sent Marty McFly back to 1985. And so it pays homage to that. And it's kind of like that kind of Easter egg thing in that movie. Now, the reason why they went with the DeLorean was because it was a brand new thing. And it was shiny. It was all stainless steel. And it kind of gave that look. And, and then you think about all the things that went wrong with DeLorean, the bent frames, you couldn't close the doors, just everything, the cocaine.
Yeah. Company going bankrupt. Yeah.
If you ever get a chance, I can't remember if it's called DeLorean or what. There's a movie out there that's about DeLorean, the guy who came up with the thing about all the downfall of what happened.
Yeah.
Watch that movie. It's really good. Thinking of car movies, car chases, especially if you've ever seen Ronin.
Yes.
I love
with De Niro. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, the chases in that movie, it's like Bullet. When you watch Bullet, it's like, wow. It's in Europe, so Europe has a lot of small alleyways and stuff, and they're cutting through these things. It just ungodly speeds, 100, 150, whatever, just and then another one, the Blues Brothers car. So I'm a junkie with the extra, commentary and all that. Yeah. And if you listen to the commentary to that, it was supposed to have superpowers.
Oh, the cop car.
Yes. Yeah. So there's a scene, if you get the extended version, where they park it behind Dan Aykroyd's apartment, and it's parked in this garage that just so happens to have these huge transformers in it. And John Landis basically said that the transformers were supposed to give the car superpower, and it just never came across right. So they cut the scene out. If you get the extended scene, that's kind of the explanation you get for it.
Okay.
I don't know
if something like that happening. Yeah.
Let me
electrified, and it was the 70s, 80s. So everything was just, if you electrified something, it got powers. That's just the way. That's the way science worked in the 80s. The DeLorean. It's funny how things like that go switch. I mean, okay, we could have had a fridge. If we had a fridge, we had a stainless steel refrigerator in Back to the Future. Do you think we would have had a sequel? Would it have been as iconic? I mean, when you think of Back to the Future, now you think about the car, the dual, flame trails that it left when it would go in, travel into the future.
Much like, okay, so you want to talk about movies that don't need to be remade, movies that don't need another sequel. Even if you brought the DeLorean back for a sequel, that's not what the point is. The movie has the DeLorean. The DeLorean is a thing of itself. When they destroy it in the third one, sorry, spoiler alert if you haven't seen Back to the Future, the DeLorean gets dismantled in a very clever way. And I think that was their way of basically saying, this is it. We're done. They didn't even expect to do a sequel. They did it kind of out of like, okay, whatever. And when they did it with this future, they were trying to make it look kind of campy. And yet it still did well. So they're like, okay, we'll wrap this up. But no, if you didn't have it, if it wasn't during that time and that iconic of a car, you wouldn't have gotten a sequel. And just the way it looked, the fact that they made it fly at the end, all of that.
Right.
But, if you remade that movie or did a sequel, you'd have to bring a DeLorean back. You couldn't do it with the train. The train made, it was cool to see the train, but that's not what the movie was about. Right. The movie is about Marty McFly and his family. That's it. So, when you hear about people saying a fourth one, and then Christopher Lloyd comes out and he says, oh, well, if we did a fourth one, it would have to be about something important. Well, there's nothing the movie is about except for Marty McFly's family. And really, there's nothing about that movie except for he messes up the entire timeline by going back to the future. It starts and ends right there. From the point he comes back, he's trying to fix stuff constantly because it's an ever-changing thing. And it all reverts back to the fact that something he changed in that ripple effect, but it's only about his family from beginning to end.
Yeah.
So you can't make it about anything else. So you explored as far as you can go, and they gave it the perfect opportunity with the perfect car that fit what you were doing. And that's like that lightning hitting, collecting lightning in a bottle. That's what they did with that.
Exactly what they did. Yeah, we saw that. I mean, the way, because you just think about all the things. Okay, if we have to transport a fridge to a nuclear bomb site, bomb goes off, that's fine. But just everything, just how elaborate it was, but yet believable at the same time. How we need to harness lightning, feed that into the flux capacitor. How do we do that? Well, it's this elaborate thing. We happen to know when lightning is going to strike, and that whole scene. I mean, if you were to take that out of it, it's just not the same. And I think you're right. It was just the stars aligning, that car being so different, being so iconic, and yet so tragic at the same time. It really just existed within a few years, and the company went, belly up.
Yeah.
To try, what are you gonna do now? You're gonna, what car do we have?
Elon Musk's truck. That's what they can.
Tesla. It's just not gonna be the same.
Hold on, just a second. What do you want?
It's called the Cybertruck.
It's called the Cybertruck. My son wants
Cybertruck.
to come around here and say hi to everybody.
Oh, well.
His son already showed up too.
Yeah, my son said hi. So, hey, how you doing?
You're blocking Finn.
So,
how dare you?
Oh, you don't have school again?
That's
Joy.
what my friends are saying.
I'll take a look at it here in a second. Okay. My son obviously is off tomorrow again. Yay.
Great.
Yay.
Gotta love it. So I guess I go back to school before Christmas,
Yeah. Love my kids.
Finals too.
You still have finals? That's lovely.
They're gonna cram them all into one day.
Yes, they are. They're gonna cram them all into one day. There you go. High schooler. Here we're gonna watch this real quick because this is a deleted scene that, like I said, in Blues Brothers, but this explains why it can do all the backward flips, the weird twists, and just there's a scene in one part where it literally goes back flipping through the air. It's
right.
Like, what the heck? This explains it right here, supposedly. But this is behind their apartment building. And I love this movie. This is an iconic car. It's a piece of crap, but it's an iconic car. The thing goes through a whole movie, balls to the wall, and then falls apart at the very, very end.
At the very end, it just completely falls apart.
See, E-Train, what was it?
Transformer, yeah.
oh god, I forget it. It's like transformer,
Powertrain.
danger, high roll, all this stuff. So it's the elevated train transformer. And if I turned it up louder, you can hear the.
I just want to see hot Carrie Fisher again.
Oh yeah, dude, she was a babe in that movie.
Yeah, she was pissed
Dangerous.
off.
There's something about a woman that knows her guns.
Damn right.
And there's those 4 headlights again. You know, in the 70s and 80s, they had a lot of that stuff. You know, high beams, low beams, where you had the clicker on the floorboard.
Yep. It's something about that. I just like that.
Yeah. He has to climb out of the car like that.
The window. Yeah.
But you see all these transformers on the side. It's because it's like surrounded by it, supposedly. And that was John Landis's explanation for why it could do all of the things it did.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Let's see here. I got people talking about the Dodge Charger from Joe Dirt.
Oh yeah.
Let's see here. Trying to look through all of these. I mean, you guys are putting up a lot of good stuff, and I appreciate all of this. I'm a horrible person when it comes to checking the chat.
Oh, you got a lot of people into it. Yeah, this is a good topic.
Yeah. But let's see here. We're going to go back here. I'll share this again. We're going to go back into the top 100 movie cars, and we're going to try to pick out something that, you know, is really good. Green Hornet, Black Beauty. Yes, definitely. The Dumb and Dumber Mutt Cut van. Another one for the kids. Ghostbusters 1959 Cadillac Ecto 1. I can't believe that's only 85. You see, this makes me want to dig into this list more because it's like, how in the world can the Munsters 1964 Munster coach?
What?
Yeah, the Munster coach was okay, and there it is. The 1965 Dragula, which is what Rob Zombie did his song on.
Right.
Family Matters. What? BMW? I said, oh God, really? The Urkel car. Oh, that's right.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
I forgot that was a Beamer.
Yeah.
But that doesn't beat the Ghostbusters.
That's a joke car, man.
Yeah. The Fireball 500, 1966 Plymouth Barracuda. Yeah. Miami Vice. There's the Testarossa. Against All Odds, the 84 Porsche. Okay, that isn't even important to that movie.
Not even really considered a character in the car.
No, and Against All Odds, 1984 Ferrari. That again, that doesn't have anything.
What's the criteria? We got to call this guy.
I don't know. John Curly Huffman. This was done in 2013. He needs to redo this.
Yeah,
this is on Edmunds. Actually, that's kind of funny.
Really, Edmunds?
Yes.
I'm gonna car people.
I'm gonna put this. I'm gonna put this up here. Yeah, they're just trying to sell cars. That's all they're doing.
Yeah.
Let's see here. What Shellback say? God made the Transformers go boom. Oh yeah, we're on a mission from God.
Mission from God.
Can you see it? I can see it.
Oh, you see the light.
I see the light.
I love that scene. James Brown. I freaking love that scene.
Okay, I got something for you on this. Again, useless knowledge up here. So again, listen to way too much commentary. That's how I used to fall asleep, was listening to the commentary of these movies. So they had a really hard time with James Brown and Aretha Franklin in that movie, not because they couldn't act, not because they weren't good and they weren't easy to work with. Both of them admitted to John Landis after they got hired for it and after they started filming, they never sang their songs the same way twice. So they had them do them in the studio, and then they played them because John Landis played it like a music video during those scenes.
Right.
And so they had to reshoot multiple times to get the best takes that fit the way they sang it in the studio because they never did it the same way twice. So they had tons of takes between the two of them.
That's nuts.
Ray Charles, on the other hand, was a consummate professional. They said that just play this song. Okay, fine. Boom. And did it. And that scene, they said, I think they did that scene in one take. The dancing scene at Ray's.
Really?
Yeah. If I remember right, I think they did it in one take. When he does.
What a great soundtrack too. God.
Oh, that dude.
Phenomenal.
if you ever watched and followed the Blues Brothers on Saturday Night Live, just the music that they were putting out there, and when you listen to Dan Aykroyd now about why they were doing that. Him and Belushi would sit backstage, smoke cigarettes, drink, and listen to these albums because it was different from all the techno and all the new wave and disco stuff out there. They were wanting something different. And when they did that, they started coming up with these characters. And then you were able to get, Cab Calloway in on it, John Lee Hooker. You got all these great artists that jumped on board. And Paul Schaefer actually was originally part of the Blues Brothers band, but he wasn't in the first movie, because he had a CBS contract with Letterman.
Yeah.
And it was an NBC production.
Yeah. That sucks.
So he actually plays on everything that was recorded, but he's not mentioned or credited, if I remember right. It's one of those kind of funny things. Let's see here. We're going to go down. Let's go down, get down here to the 30s and stuff. Okay. That's interesting. Number 30. No way. No fucking way. Oh my God. Back to the Future 1981 DeLorean DMC-12. That's what number 30 is.
30?
30.
Come on, man.
This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. And you know what's number 29? Look
What?
right there. It says Back to the Future 1985 Toyota 4x4 extra cab pickup truck. They put that before the DeLorean.
Are these in reverse order? Is 100 the best?
There's no way. You can't say the monkey's car was number 1.
No, that's true. That's true. What the hell?
American Graffiti 1955 Chevy 210. 27 2-lane blacktop 1955 Chevy 210. What the heck? This is not the A-Team GMC van is not better than the DeLorean. I mean,
it's iconic, but not.
I wanted that van.
Oh yeah,
I wanted that van, but still, the Fall Guy. There you go, 82 GMC Sierra. Okay, let's go with that. I don't know where it's at on this list, but it has to be on this list, probably in like number 70 something. But the I think it was a Trans Am that Rockford had. Was it Trans Am?
Yes, the Rockford Files. It was a.
That's an iconic car because not only is it associated with that show, but you got a term that still sticks around to this day that if a kid hears it, they may know what it is, but they don't know where the name came from, and that's the Rockford turnaround.
Yeah.
Throw it in reverse, drop it in neutral, turn the wheel, and then hit it in drive, and boom.
Yeah.
You just can't. You can't make that up. That's what made that an iconic car, because not only was it essential to that TV show, it was essential to the Rockford turnaround.
Yeah. Yeah. You coined a phrase. I mean, you created a move, a stunt car move with that vehicle.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's just a damn shame.
It is.
Yeah.
So the Fall Guy, Sierra, Batman, the Tim Burton Batmobile. And we talked about this.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's essential to the movie, but it wasn't practical. Because go ahead and tell them what you said about this at the beginning when we were looking at let's go back to it right now.
Yeah, before we went live, Chris and I were talking about this, going back and forth, and how iconic and visually stunning
right here
Batmobile was, but it wasn't until we got to the Tumbler that we had a fully functional, actual working vehicle. The Tim Burton Batmobile was awesome, but the thing couldn't turn. This started out as just a kit bashing thing with Christopher Nolan and his brother, and they took Lamborghini parts and Humvee parts from these, like they did in Star Wars back in the day, and they just sort of began to make this monstrosity and get a picture in their head of what they wanted, and then they went from that to mechanical geniuses that said, "Hey, how can we make this work?" Because I don't know if people have paid attention, or you can sort of tell in the picture. The front wheels they turn independently. Well, not independently, but they're on two different shafts where you don't have a single guide rod like traditionally on a car. They turn left and right, and they're fastened to the vehicle from the inside. The frame actually comes on the outside, and that's how the wheels attach. So all that mechanically had to be figured out. Plus, when you see this thing jump, it actually jumps. This thing can get up to, I think, 70 miles an hour. So they made this whole cool endoskeleton, all tubing, You got a small block 350, and then they clad it with all this other cool stuff. But it wasn't until, well, I guess you could say the George Barris car was also functional.
Yeah, but that was like a Frankenstein, because that was like what,
Yeah.
3 different cars. It was part of.
It was some kind of a concept car based on, I think it was a Fantasia. I can't remember what the concept car was that they sort of used as a model. But this was something it was so unique because it really was just dreamed up out of these goofy guys' heads. And they said, yeah, here we go. A Ford
Lincoln Futura.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I just remember it wasn't even a real car.
No. But the Tumbler was something special.
No, it was. And I mentioned that I remember seeing the featurette about how in the second one they actually designed the motorcycle to work too. Now, when it does the thing where it flips, like the wheels flip and stuff, that was, I think, CGI. But the actual shooting off of where it spins out and it pops out from the Batmobile in The Dark Knight, that was practical. That was all practical, real. How they did it. And the guy who wrote it, the stunt driver, said it was the most insane car that he'd ever driven, and he never wanted to get on it again because it was so unpredictable, but it worked.
Yeah. It's something. Oh, now we have CGI fests, which are fine. They're great. Some of these movies couldn't happen without CGI, but back in the day when you had to mechanically figure something out to get it on screen, there's something when it's tangible. It's just something different about this, something unique. And I'm afraid that we've moved far away from that stuff, and we're not going to get that sort of creativity back.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. There's something to be said about practical effects, and especially practical car effects. I guess the only non-practical, and it was originally kind of practical because, like you said, they built kits with it, was the Millennium Falcon, which you have behind you.
Yeah,
that was, it's fantasy. It's not even real. But I tell people to this day, when I was a child, I wanted to build it out of plywood in my backyard. I was like, I could do this. I was like, I can do this.
Yeah, I still do.
Yeah, he's like, and I guess I could always hope that Disney does fold up, Galaxy's Edge, and they have two Millennium Falcons they're looking to sell, you and me,
possible, or money together.
Crowdfund, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Can you imagine living in one of the where do you live? I live in the Millennium Falcon. What? You heard me.
Yes.
You live in that piece of junk? Hey, that piece of junk. Tesla running 12 parsec.
12 parsec.
The things that you could say about it.
She's got it where it counts.
She's got it where it counts. Dude, well, I mean, oh God, let's go back to this list. And I mean, I'm like sitting here going through this list, going like, who wrote this?
Yeah, I don't know where this came from. This is insane.
This guy has no clue what he's talking about here.
I don't even know what the hell. What's the criteria for this rank structure?
It doesn't say. It's like here's a list of 100 cars. I mean, it's of loved cars started, or our loved cars started here. Movie and TV cars are literally the stuff of dreams. Sure. We're all let into theaters and plopped in front of the tube long before we were issued driver's licenses. Mm-hmm. Then we all dream of doing reverse 180s like Jim Rockford, escaping thugs, or fleeing the Popo and Shelby Mustang named Eleanor. We want a best friend like Kit, and every orange Dodge Charger car can fly. See, now I got a friend here in town, Joe Pace, and he does reproduction cars. So he has the Back to the Future DeLorean. He has the Ecto-1. He had the Munsters car. He had the one from Dumb and Dumber. He's done a lot of those. And, that's awesome. So when my kids were younger, we'd pick them up in those cars. I tried to pick them up in a car at the end of the school year like that. My dad did it with me. He knew a guy that bought a replica of the Munsters car and picked me up one time. I was like, oh,
this is awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's amazing, and that's the thing. So if you're in your town and you see the Back to the Future car at a movie theater, or I guess a mall, malls aren't really a thing anymore. at your strip mall or at the grocery store or something like that. If you see a replica car, there's somebody in your town, more than likely, unless it's a smaller town, that has built that car. Every town normally had one or two people that would build replica cars, and then they'd sell them out for special events, like Back to the Future's 25th anniversary, stuff like that. The amount of time these people put into this stuff is amazing, because they're going through thousands of pictures, and that's a love. That's a true love to go through. If you get the chance to watch it, I think YouTube has it on there. Check out when they redid the actual DeLorean from the original Back to the Future. They went back and they redid it top to bottom and brought it back to life, because it was just a hunk of metal almost by the time they got to it. Same thing with the Ecto One. Hollywood does these movies and they just throw it to the side when they're done. They're like, yeah, screw it, here it is. Because they don't care. That's not an icon to them. That was money, and once the money's spent and it's not used again, it goes to the wayside. Oh, let's see here if there's anything
crazy to think about. Because I've seen some of these documentaries where they try to recreate that, and then they're obsessing over every little point and piece and part, and then they would eventually get in contact with somebody with the studio, and they were like, man, we don't even remember.
Yeah,
we just had crap on there. We were just trying to get the movies made and TV shot. We don't know.
And if you guys aren't, you guys may or may not know this, but there's normally 3 to 4 cars. There's the hero car, which is the absolute mint quality car that has all the gadgets. Everything works on it because it's the main performer. If the car gets wrecked at some point in the movie, they have to have that car too. It has to have the markings of the wreck and all of that. So they go and they literally purposely make that car. The only time I think I've ever heard that they didn't do that was with the original Gone in 60 Seconds. The guy who did that movie was a stunt car driver. And at one time, it was like 177 some odd vehicles were crashed in the whole movie. And I think there's a point in it's a 90-minute movie or 97-minute movie, and there's 90 cars in the last 40 minutes that are wrecked. Jeez. Literally as many cars as minutes in the movie in 40 minutes. It's the last car chase. If you ever get a chance to go watch it, Gone in 60 Seconds, the original one, 1974, I think, or something like that. It's not the greatest movie in the world, but it is a car movie. It was made by a car nut, and that's why it's like that. This guy put money into all these cars. He literally bought all these cars that were wrecked in the movie, and then they wrecked other people's cars accidentally. The Blues Brothers took that place, though. The Blues Brothers ended up wrecking more than anybody else up to a certain time. And like the part where they go through the mall was actually closed down, but they bought all the cars you see at all of the different dealerships. Those were all bought by the production team. They were, because these companies would not put their cars into this movie. And another fact about Blues Brothers, another useless fact of mine, after that was done, Daley, the mayor who had allowed that to happen, shut down the movies being made there permanently. And it wasn't until 1985, I believe, when Ferris Bueller's Day Off was shot there, that they actually were allowed to shoot in Chicago again. Because of that movie, they ran it through the Daley courthouse or whatever that they went through. That was actually done in the courthouse. When they drive the car through there, that was actually in that courthouse. Everything you see in that was actually in those buildings. And after they got done, I don't know if it was Daley still was the mayor or not, but the mayor of Chicago said, never again. Never again. And they stopped. And then they shot Ferris Bueller's Day Off there. So, and then, we got Home Alone and a bunch of other, but that's John Hughes for you. John, we just go through all the John Hughes movies.
John Hughes, he made different movies. He was not making Blues Brothers.
No, he was not. No, that was, okay, see, here's number 55, Christine, 1958 Plymouth Fury. That's a top 20.
The name of the movie is the name of the car.
And it is the character. It is the evil presence, period. It takes over a person, it kills him. And then here we go. We talked about it, but number 54, before Christine, Fast and Furious, 1969 Dodge Charger. It's like, okay, yeah, it was a great car, but
it was in that one, but it
wasn't integral.
No.
He uses it at the very end. That's it. It's like, okay. Fast Five, 1969 Nissan Skyline. Now, I will say that the Nissan Skyline, that's a nifty car.
Oh yeah.
You can't find, if people don't know about this, you can find Skylines out there. The Skyline is not what was amazing about that car. It wasn't the fact it was a Nissan Skyline. It was the type it was. So that Nissan Skyline GTR was an, if I remember right, it's the one with the left seat, the fact that left seat is like that. Those, I think I heard at one time there was only like 20 that were made or something like that, and it had to be shipped from overseas. So if you had that in the States, the purpose of it being in that movie was to have it in the States meant you had money, and if people who knew cars saw that movie, they were going to be like, oh my God, that guy's banking because he's got that car. I can't remember everything about that car, but there was a lot of special things about the car. They're talking about the 1969 Nissan Skyline from the 2011 movie. Again, it's like, I don't know. The 2008 Audi R8 from Iron Man, that's not. He got a ton of cars in that movie.
No. Well, there were different colors. It wasn't the same car throughout all the movies.
No. Simon and Simon, the Dodge Power Wagon. Now you see,
okay, that
I could see that, but that's not, 51. Okay, I mean that's maybe in the right place. Too Fast, Too Furious, 1990. There it is, the 1998 Nissan Skyline GTR.
Yeah. Toyota Supra's got to be in there somewhere.
Yeah,
first one, yeah.
The on-screen R34s ran with disconnected front differentials for drifting. Ooh, okay, interesting. Nice. Better Off Dead, the 1967 Camaro.
Yes.
Now that was its own character because it sat underneath the tarp.
And it symbolized him getting his life together and getting his ass in gear when it was completed. Yes. Yeah. So at least that
was a beautiful car.
Yeah.
That was just
when he was done. That was
great.
That might have been the first time I saw that body style and thought that's it. Because to me, that's probably still my favorite car. The 69 Camaro.
You see, I love 69 Camaro. People say it's sacrilege. I'm a Mustang and a Camaro guy. It just depends on the year.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I'm with you. Yeah, exactly.
9 Camaro, you're right. It's like one of the most iconic car shapes and design.
Coke bottles, shapes. Yeah, exactly.
It said, I'm going to kick your ass. I'm not hiding it. I'm going to do this.
Kind
of like the Dodge Charger, the Dukes of Hazzard, generally was the same way. I'm going to kick your ass.
Yeah. Metal dash.
Not hiding it.
Yeah. It's not plastic. A big metal dash with one little piece of padding, and that was it,
And those cars, the best thing about those cars was if you ever rode in one, they're not comfortable.
Yeah.
They're not designed to be comfortable. But they're fun.
Yeah.
I remember the first time my mom. Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that they're mechanical. Everything about them is just mechanical. You're physically connected to the transmission. This is not drive-by-wire. This is not some super fancy power steering. I mean, a lot of these things, they had no AC. They had no power steering. They were true manual transmission. Some of them were 3 on the tree. And you were just connected to that car. You felt everything in the road, for better or for worse. It was just a different era, a different time.
Yeah. Here you go. Christine sheared off her own front fenders in order to kill someone. How can dedication like that be ignored? And that's what I'm saying. That's top 20 car because again, you're total. This guy's totally disregarding the fact that the name of the movie is Christine.
It's like he just came up. Here's a list of cars.
Yeah.
In no particular order is what you should have said.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, the Blues Brothers, number 43, 1974 Dodge Monaco. The 13 different Dodges that portrayed the Bluesmobile in this 1980 film were bought from the California Highway Patrol. Yep.
Nice.
What's funny is I'll tell you how much of an impact that movie had on me. So I don't know if you guys had to do it in elementary school, but you had to write that book, that little young writer's book or whatever we used to have. We had to do it here where I grew up. And you write a book and you submit it to young authors. And I actually won an award one time from this book that I'm going to talk about. I wrote it, and I can't remember what the name of the book was, but it was premise of a detective in a mystery, but he worked for the Mount Prospect Police Department because of that damn car.
That car. There you go. Yeah.
And it started off.
Yeah.
That book started off. It was a dark and stormy night. I can't. It's like I can't make this shit up.
And the fact you still remember that is crazy.
Yeah. Risky Business, 1981 Porsche. Okay. Yeah. I'm looking through Italian Job, the 1967 Lamborghini Miura. Yeah, I could go with that, and also the Mini Cooper.
Mini Cooper. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the fact that they kept there you go, remake. What did they use? The Mini Cooper. That relaunched the product back here in the States. That's how important that movie was to that car. That it was used so predominantly for that car that they relaunched it here in the States with another movie. Does the same thing.
Car brand's still going to this day. Yeah.
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 Let's see here. Bullet, 1968 Dodge Charger. It was number 38.
Mm-hmm.
Gone in 60 Seconds, 1973 Mach 1 is number 36. Gumball Rally, 1972 Ferrari Daytona Spider. It's 35. Gumball Rally, 66 Shelby Cobra, 427, 34. The Godfather, the 1941 Lincoln Continental.
Ooh.
The mob wagon.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yes.
That's a good one.
Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, 1910 Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, 31. Oh, here you go. Wait, yeah, I said that. Yeah, number 30 is the Back to the Future 1981 DeLorean, and 29 was the damn truck. I don't.
It doesn't make any sense.
Number 20, National Lampoon Vacation 1983 Wagon Queen Family Truckster.
Yep.
Number 19, Le Mans 1970 Ferrari 512S. Le Mans 70 Porsche 917K. Cannonball Run 1980 Lamborghini.
Yep.
Fast and Furious 1970 Dodge Charger, the iconic car from this movie series, is so intimidating that Vin Diesel is scared to drive it in the original film. Oh, but number 15, Ronin 1998 Audi S8. You know, if you haven't driven an Audi, you just don't understand. There's some power behind that thing. It's very deceptive. Ferris Bueller's Day Off, 1961 Ferrari 250 GT California. It's a 1961 Ferrari 250 GT.
We'll just drive it backwards. Take the miles off.
It is his love. It is his life. It is his fault that he forgot to lock the garage. You see, if a car has lines that makes you think about, that's an iconic car. That's where this list should have started.
Yes.
Something that as soon as you say that car, if you just say a 1969 Dodge Charger, are you thinking the 1969 Dodge Charger? Are you seeing the General Lee? That's the thing.
You have to set this up to where we have a top 10, top 20, whatever we decide, right? And then we have to set I agree with you. The criteria is very, very, very important. You know, it can't just be cool car number one, right? It's got to be, it had a significant impact in the film. It was a character in the film, whatever.
If you say the film, you think the car. Or if you say the car, you think the film.
Yeah. Was it on the poster?
I think we're talking here. We're gonna have to DM back and forth. We're gonna have to make up our definitive top 10.
I think we'll have to do this. Yeah.
Yeah. Number 13, Love Bug, 1962 Volkswagen Beetle. You see, I wouldn't put it that high, but that's true. That sits there because of that.
Yep.
Number 12, the Rockford Files, 1974 Pontiac Firebird E-Spirit. Starsky and Hutch, the 75 grand.
Oh, Reno. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yep.
The 1955 Lincoln Futura Batmobile. The 73 Ford XB Falcon Mad Max. I do agree with that. That is a very iconic car in that. And if I remember right, they destroy it at the end, don't they?
Oh yeah, they destroy it.
Yeah. You see, what people don't understand is that's the same car. So depending on how you look at it, Mad Max is a sequel to the Road Warrior.
Right.
But it's also kind of a relaunch for America because it kind of runs the same line. And if I remember right, the cars in both of them. But what's the I think it's GTA 5 actually, the game GTA 5. I think they have that in there.
Right.
When you have cars that go into games because of their iconic, like I have phooey, what is it called? Forza. I have Forza Horizon, and Forza Horizon, you can get a lot of the Bond cars. You can get I think there's a Barris collection that you can buy, and it has the it's got a lot of that stuff on there that you can drive around. And of course, I got to do that.
Yeah, hell yeah.
They know how to take your money. That's just how it is.
Of course, and that's fine. I have
my money. Take my money.
You're giving you my money if you give me something in return. That's fine.
Oh, look at all this wonderful stuff. Keep it up here. I'm just going to send you my credit
you
card.
go.
I don't need it.
Just hold my wallet. I'll explain to my wife later. It's fine.
The Knight Rider 1982 Pontiac Trans Am. The Knight Industries 2000 was a supercar that talked to David Hasselhoff for 4 seasons between 82 and 86. At least K.I.T.T didn't have to listen. Let's talk about that. They did like 2 more reboots of that movie or that show.
Yeah.
One was in the, I want to say, mid 90s, and they used Team Knight Rider. Yeah. And they used a group of cars, and I think, were they Mustangs?
It was Ford. I think you had a Ford Lightning pickup truck, and you had I think a sport utility, and then the rest of them were sort of cars. But they actually, I'm trying to remember when it happened. There was a TV movie, Knight Rider 2000, and they made a new K.I.T.T.
Yep.
It wasn't K.I.T.T though; it was just a new supercar. It was red, and it was still called K.I.T.T, but it was the Knight Industries 3000.
Yes.
And David Hasselhoff comes back for that 2-hour movie. And the thing is, he's like, listen, I'll come back and I'll help you. The flag, the Foundation for Law and Order.
Yep.
He says, I'll come back and I'll help you, but I'll only do it if you let me, if K.I.T.'s still around, right? I got to have K.I.T. And then he goes with Devin to the warehouse, and K.I.T. is dismantled. So the thing in the movie is that he actually takes K.I.T.'s brain in the scanner and puts that in the new car, and that's how you get the new car. So there was that, but that was just this little TV movie. I think it was pretty much it's not even canon anymore, I don't think. Technically.
There's that canon thing that's like, okay, I don't understand it. Because then they did one in the 2000s, and I think that was a Mustang.
That was a Mustang. Yeah, that was a Mustang. The voice of K.I.T. was Val Kilmer.
Yeah, and I didn't mind them, but it didn't have the same appeal. It wasn't the same thing.
Well, as you can probably tell, I'm a Knight Rider fan. So I watched this show. Now, the thing that K.I.T. would do back in the day was if there was some sort of issue, terrain, whatever, like let's say there was sand, they would hit a button and then K.I.T. would slightly raise himself so he could get over the terrain, right?
It had the
new system. Yeah. And it was something that it's still sci-fi, but it was fairly believable. In the new show, if there was rough terrain, he would hit a button and the freaking car would turn into an F-150.
Yeah.
That's not, that is so, and it would physically do it like, just like Transformers, whatever. Turn into a truck just to go over some sand and then turn back into a Mustang. That was just, for me, just a bridge too far. You're just trying to sell cars at that point. It made no sense.
No, and you see, I don't know. I mean, I kind of look back on it and I wonder, was it iconic because we were kids, or was it iconic because of what it was? But I typically think it's because of what it was, because I remember my dad liked the Dukes of Hazzard. My dad liked the Rockford Files. My dad liked Magnum PI. It wasn't just me as a kid. It was adults too. It was a guy thing. And I mean,
sure. Yeah.
Let us get struck down for being white men because, somehow we're going to be racist because we said that.
Guilty as charged.
Yeah. But you were a guy, you were into that. You wanted, not every guy's into cars, but I love cars. I love that stuff, and you always want to think, oh man, I'd love to have that car. Who doesn't want to at least make a replica of it generally? I mean,
I would love to.
Well,
I'd love that K.I.T., the Bandit car. I mean,
could you just imagine, what do I drive today?
Oh, let me see. Let me hit the button, open up all the garage doors.
How about, hey, have you seen the Carvana car vending machines?
Yes, I have one of those. That would be badass.
Dude, put those cars in there. Hit random today. Boop.
Yeah, I'm feeling the 80s today. Yeah, maybe the 70s. Yeah.
Like just have different options.
just purge for like decade,
Yeah, you have, you have like the roulette wheel one, like roulette, boom.
Oh yeah.
And it drops the love bug on you. And you're like, nope.
I put that one in there. Damn it. Come on.
Where did it come from? Honey, did we buy one of the...
That's when I'm feeling whimsical. I'll go with Herbie.
Yeah. But it doesn't do any of the fun stuff.
No, it doesn't. Not really.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, but maybe Chris, where's Sean? We should be doing our stream now, but I can't get a hold of him. Oh, okay. Well, ooh. Terrence, I know he said something about Ambien. I don't know if he knew he was supposed to have a stream tonight or not. Let me attempt to let me try to message him real quick for you guys. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I tell you though, I would like to take one of these old cars and do like a little resto mod where they didn't necessarily have all the power in the world. I mean, they look cool, but once we get to the Bandit car, you've got a Pontiac 400 big block that has 150, maybe 200 horsepower. It wasn't that badass. It looked good, but it wasn't. You take the first thing I would do, take out that old power plant, you put in a new LS, modern suspension, you know, so we can really, get in the corners, but leave the exterior classic, and that's it.
Well, that's a cool thing about the older cars is you can drop new stuff in it, and it'll, the way they make cars now, it's just really hard to mod it out or change.
Yeah, you really can't.
Hey, and then Hanstar just mentioned Airwolf again. Airwolf was just interesting. I mean, it was Knight Rider in the air. And then I'm trying to think what else was different. I'm trying to think of. Well,
it came out of like a volcano, not a volcano, but like a mountain. I mean, it was just, and of course, the fact that it was a helicopter was badass.
Let's hear.
I was going to bring up the F-14 Tomcat from Top Gun.
Oh.
Not a car, not attainable. But
yes, I mean, well,
it's in the 80s.
Put it this way, I can't remember what I read when I was doing the Maverick trailer reaction, but I read something that they said that recruit percentages went up by like 60% or more when that movie came out because they literally were like, I want to do that. And of course, you and I have been there. We understand. When you get there, you start realizing, okay, that's not going to happen to me.
This is not, this is not Tom Cruise's wet dream of a movie he gave us. But
so one of the things I was wondering is like this movie, is it going to have that same reaction to people? I don't think it will, but the fact that Tom Cruise is expecting like the actors and the actors to be able to be in these planes and actually know how they work and fly. This guy's crazy in real life. Trust me. I mean, I believe it through and through. This guy's a nutcase. But when it comes to being an actor, this guy is method all the way. He's like, you better know this stuff through and through. I love the guy as an actor. The guy as a person, go shoot yourself in a hotel somewhere.
Yeah. But if you look at, I was thinking as we were talking, car chases, you brought up Ronin. Looking currently, what are we looking at as far as good car chases? Bond, maybe. Those movies are hit and miss, but Mission Impossible, some of the best car chase scenes, motorcycle chase scenes, John Wick, I mean, just as far as that stuff goes. But Tom Cruise is committed. He is crazy, but to be an actor and to pull off a big budget, movie with big stars, you have to be nuts. You have to be.
He's completely about that. All right, we've talked about it. This is off of TV, but
this is for you, buddy.
Oh, I gotta go find a better version than this crap hole.
But it was kind of like a formula. It was a black vehicle, just all black. What is it? Oh,
it's a fan film. Oh, did I just stumble on something really hopefully kick ass? Hold on. Oh, come on! Don't do this to me. How can I have like the fastest internet out there in the world? You're stupid. Okay, hold on. I gotta find like the original. This is official trailer. 2017.
No way. Yeah, see, here we go. You see this inspiration, right? From Knight Rider. All the gauges, it's all blacked out. Now, but with the helicopter, these buttons are actually doing something. Yeah, it's full of nonsense.
I don't like this already. I want to find like the original startup.
The TV.
Airwolf intro. Let's try this. There it is.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that was, I remember watching that too. Knight Rider in the air, basically.
Look at that.
Yes.
Come on.
And that, that was before they had the helicopters. You could actually do the flips. Back when they said it was like you go a 70-degree bank, and that was about it.
Right.
I can't even remember. Oh yeah, I forgot he played cello. I'm refined. I'm a.
Who is? Snake Plissken.
Oh, dude.
Arnold Borgnine. Yes. Oh yeah. I mean, come on.
I mean, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying. Iconic vehicles. I saw a 40-something Ford that had newer Mustang suspension and Ford Coyote. Ooh.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, when you do that, when you take out the old and put new in, but you keep the old look.
Yes.
I always said, I'd love a 1964 and a half Mustang and change the motor out, but leave everything else the same.
Yeah.
When
they did the restyle, the retro stuff in 05 with the Mustang and then with the Camaro, I liked it, but then they almost immediately got away from that and started getting real sleek. And it's like, what? Come on. I mean, I want to see the old and the new. I mean, it's like if you remake a movie or remake a game, it's not a cop out. If you bring that back and you honor that, but you change it slightly, you update it. So that a younger generation can enjoy it, right? Same thing with the cars, take that old classic styling, do it in a modern way, a safe way, and let people enjoy it.
Here you go. We talked about this.
Damn, dude.
Easy Rider.
A couple decades ago.
Oh, yeah.
This year, the judges of the Cannes Film Festival presented the award Best Film by a New Director to Easy Rider.
There they are.
There you go.
Looking for America and couldn't find it anywhere.
Yeah, they're on those bikes all the way through the movie.
Yeah.
You do your own thing in your own time. You should be proud.
Also starring Dennis Hopper, the award-winning director of Easy Rider.
Dude.
Two guys just hit the road, man.
Co-starring Jack Nicholson.
What you represent to them is freedom. What the hell's wrong with freedom, man? That's what it's all about.
Easy Rider.
That's right, brother. 1969.
Yeah, dude. That's like, you just don't get those anymore. That's the thing, I don't know. I mean, is there anything? Okay, we mentioned the new Batmobile. That's probably one of the first ones you can mention that's still iconic. But what else do you have after that? I mean, what else is out there that is recent that you could say that about?
Well, I mean, you've got John Wick's car,
Yeah.
but it's just it's a Mustang, it's not necessarily different or special. It does get sort of trashed in the first movie. Well, not the first movie, the second movie, it's trashed.
Uh-huh.
And then we don't want to see it again. So it's not a big part of the film. It is it's just a motivator,
Yeah.
Not as much as a puppy, but it's a motivator. But yeah, I don't know, Chris. I'm telling you, I don't.
No.
I'm thinking nothing on TV. There's nothing.
No.
No show.
You've lost everything that made 80s and 70s TV shows great.
Yep.
You've lost the title, the theme, and you've lost cars.
Yep.
Even more had his own car. I mean,
That's everybody. Yeah, well, and you're right. The themes, the iconic. Oh, I don't hum a theme to a TV show.
making your way in the world today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away?
Where everybody knows you.
Exactly.
It's just all that stuff.
It took away all the good stuff. Well, we're going to wrap this up. And we've talked. We need to get together and come up with the definitive top 10 or maybe top 20. I don't know. I mean, when we get into it, we might be like, oh my God, there are 100 damn I don't think there'll be 100. I think
you're right. Yeah, 100's way. There's no way.
like top 20 at max.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, I'll tell everybody that I am planning. I did a Bond week last week here at the Real Review, and I am very soon thinking about doing maybe a 3-part live stream or recorded stream with a panel of people and doing a Bond top 10 gadgets, movies.
Yeah. List
the top Bonds and the top cars in Bond. I'm planning on doing that. So I'd like to have you on that because I think you'd hit that out of the park.
Yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be fun.
But before we go, I will make sure that I put Fox's link and everything down in the description as soon as we get off of here. But go ahead and tell everybody one more time where they can find you, what you're all about, all that fun stuff.
19K Fox on YouTube, 19K Fox 1 on Twitter and Instagram. I do post to Instagram stuff that I don't post on Twitter, I guess to justify having both of them. But you can follow me there. I am about movie reviews. I am about trailer reactions. I am about The Mandalorian currently. I am Batwoman also. And my next big gig, my next big thing is going to be Rise of Skywalker. I am actually going to see it Thursday at 30, and I'm going to live stream at midnight. Well, 11:50. I'm going to start a live stream for 10 minutes, no spoilers. After that, all bets are off. I'm going to spoil the hell out of the movie. So if you're curious, if you don't want to see it, but just want to come by and see what happens, check me out.
Yeah, no. I'm doing the same thing. I'll be on another person's stream. As soon as I know more particulars, I'll put it out there, but I won't go over your stream. And heck, if I'm still up, maybe if you need
the more stream, the better.
I'll jump over there because I'll probably be up all night that night because I had to be at work like 3 a.m. the next morning anyway. So whatever it happens,
it's all over, right?
Yeah, it happens. Okay, so this is how you were picked. This is the Wheel of Names, and as you can see, there's lots of names on there still. That's why we're doing 5 live streams this week. So this is for tomorrow. We're going to see who is going to be our guest tomorrow. Now that does depend on who it is, because if it's like Drunk 3PO or somebody, I'm not going to call it. I'm not going to get them on there and say, "Hey, you're on tomorrow." And I just said his name, but Sporking is listed.
Sporking
podcast. We will remove his name from this list and we will put him on the new Wheel of Names, and we'll do that. So, you know what, Fox, I'm very happy to have you on. I'm glad we talked this. It was one of the great conversation. You can't beat that. With that said, we're going to go ahead and do our exit. And everybody, you have a good day. We'll talk to you later.
Hey guys, thanks for checking us out. Be sure to subscribe to both channels and make sure to check out our friends in the Fandom Minutes. You can find us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and BitChute. And you can also send us an email at sean@seanstackhousereacts.com and chrisknight@therealreview3000.com. Be sure to swing by our Teespring store to pick up some awesome merchandise.